Apparently, an Amtrak train has derailed.
It appears that the train, look at that, went off an overpass.
Oh! 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 Oh my! What the? How the? Oh my God!
Take a look at that picture. It is pretty dramatic.
Let's bring back Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, who's live on this from our West Coast Bureau. So, Jonathan, part of the story now is those, or are those leaders who talked about the fact that this could happen before they even rolled this out, this brand new line today.
Yeah, the mayor of Lakewood, which is the city immediately north of where this accident happened, said exactly 2 weeks ago that an accident involving this new high-speed train and track was almost inevitable. And talking of infrastructure, as you just were, Harris, President Trump has just tweeted regarding this accident. Let me read it to you. Quote, "The train accident that just occurred in DuPont, Washington shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble. Not for long!" Exclamation point. That from President Trump. Now, a U.S. official, by the way, also saying that at least 6 people have been killed in this terrible accident. Now, this official, talking to the Associated Press, Harris, also says, interestingly, that preliminary signs indicate the train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. And as you look at those aerial pictures, it's interesting to note that the engine, the front, appears to have gone across the overpass, and then the cars behind it have swung out over both sides of that overpass. We know that there was one dangling on the left-hand side as you look at it right now, with one on the ground, and 3 to 4, according to the sheriff's spokesman, on the right-hand side as you look at it closer to that wooded section. We also know from the Associated Press via transitdocs.com, which is a train speed tracking website, that the train was traveling at 81.1 miles per hour moments before this accident. We also know that the top speed on that stretch of track, according to the Washington Department of Transport, is 79 miles per hour. So 2.1 miles per hour over the speed limit. That may or may not be a significant difference, according to some of the experts you yourself have been talking to here, Harris. But all of this will now be looked at, obviously, by the National Transportation Safety Board. They will lead the investigation. We're expecting a briefing from NTSB officials in Washington, D.C. in about 45 minutes. We'll learn more on their preliminary thoughts then, Harris.
All right, I just want to step back for just 1 second, because I was taking notes on what you said, and I want to make sure I got it right. So the reports of something on the tracks, again, Jonathan, where is that coming from, and what do we know?
That is coming from the Associated Press, who are describing their source as, quote, a U.S. official familiar with this preliminary investigation. So this U.S. official telling the Associated Press, 1, that at least 6 people have been killed, and 2, that the preliminary investigation points to the train possibly striking something on the track. Now, that is interesting, going back to how you started our reporting here, Harris, with the warning from the mayor of Lakewood. That was exactly what he was concerned about. He was more concerned about one of these high-speed trains hitting a pedestrian or a vehicle in his city of Lakewood as it went through the city. But if that is true, that it indeed did strike something on the track, this is exactly what the mayor of Lakewood warned could happen, and he asked for further safety improvements before this new high-speed train and track was inaugurated. And remember, this is its first actual journey today. Ribbon cutting took place just on Friday. This was the first passenger train along what we believe was this new high-speed section of track.
Amtrak is confirming that they know of this situation. They are investigating. It has derailed near Olympia, Washington, which is south of Seattle. It is hanging over I-5.
joining us now is a witness that we have just gotten in, Greg Mukai. The train derailed moments before he would have driven under that Interstate 5 bridge. Ed, you're with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Tell me, if you could, what you saw.
Well, to begin with, I thought it was odd as I was traveling that stretch of highway to see the passenger train on that track. I've been traveling that highway for a couple of years, never seen that, so that caught my attention. Further down the highway, we all had to go to a complete stop. And so anytime you have to come to a complete stop and try to avoid people on the highway from a collision, you look up to see what's going on, and to everybody's surprise, I'm sure, we looked up to see the train in the condition, it is, which is one of them hanging off, another one on the highway, cars that were traveling to wherever they were going, south side 5, being impacted by that train car coming off, and just unreal.
Eyewitness Greg Mukai with us now. He was on Interstate 5. And Greg, you're describing what you could see in terms of the train, but for the very first time, for the Sheriff's Department spokesperson, we got to hear what it was like actually on the ground. What was it like?
After I think people realized what happened, lots of people in their cars got out to rush and see what they could do, if they could help. We are that location is just south of Joint Base Lewis McChord, and there were several military personnel that were probably coming off of shift or just getting done with their physical activity in the morning, who ran there and wanted to help immediately. So although it was super tragic, it was a little bit of pride seeing those folks trying to help immediately.
And you could see them, they were on foot? People were kind of walking in between. I'm trying to kind of understand the scene, because the Sheriff's Department was saying that you had semi-truck trailers upside down. I mean, this was a horrific scene.
Yeah, so, as soon as we all stopped, you can imagine we had to stop so fast that people were darting to the emergency sides of the highway so we didn't run into one another. As soon as we stopped, and we're all stuck now because of the traffic, people are getting out of their cars to look. As soon as you look and you see, people are running in between cars, and they're going to see what they can help. A lot of those military personnel folks came back, and they asked for anybody who had first aid kits or clothing or towels or anything that could help to aid those folks down there. And so everybody, we were looking around our cars and trying to find things to help best we could.
And, it sounds like you guys were, almost put into the position of being there first. We say first responders, but you're getting out of your car. People are there on the ground as this is happening. What were the sounds that you were hearing? Sometimes were people asking for help? Because we're getting reports that people were trying to get out of those cars.
It was very eerily silent, to be honest. I don't remember a whole lot of noises or people saying anything. I think in an occasion like that, when you're looking up and you see a train off of a train track coming down onto a highway, people are definitely shocked. Like I said, the folks coming back obviously asked for first aid kits and things, but I didn't see anybody in the train cars. From my view, I didn't see anybody injured on the ground per se from where I was standing. And like I said, it was probably more eerily quiet than you would imagine.
Yeah, we're looking at some scenes right now live, a much closer vantage point of the crush of train cars as they came off that bridge. If people are just looking now, they can see the paint that we've heard officials describing, where they mark a car and then move on to the next one. So we now have a close-up live shot to be able to see the cars that they have already gone through. We're told that they will leave the people who did not survive this on the trains while they completely get everybody off.